whip. I'm gonna do 30 minutes on. The children in the garden is up. That's just what I call it. I don't know what the real name is. So here you can see what I have done. And gonna do a little stitch with me. And I was thinking that I have a lot of tags that I want to do. One of them is the crafty curator tag. So when I got into the stitching, I will start that. So need to set my timer. Can see 30 minutes. And start. So I was thinking doing this color because there's not much confetti, so it's easier when I'm gonna speak and stitch at the same time. And it will be a little bit different for me stitching this way, because I usually have my pattern right on my lap when I stitch in hand. So now I have to have it on the side so you don't see the pattern. So let me see. And I usually, if I don't have a good place to almost say bind the thread, I do something that I recently saw someone call the lasso method. I take the end of the thread and make sure it will come in the loop that will be pulled through. So I just hold a finger over that, pull, and now it's stuck. So I can start stitch. I often do this for the when I'm stitching with one thread, just because I can't do the loop method. If I do 2 threads, I will do the loop method. So yeah, that's a neat way to stitch. So I can feel myself being very tired of changing projects all the time. Really not for me, because when I first have started stitching, I want to stitch on that project. I don't like to switch. So yeah. And if you hear me counting like in Norwegian, that's because I am Norwegian. I speak Norwegian, and for me it will be hard to count in English just when I stitch, because I always just count almost like I mumble to myself. So every time my husband is on the couch with me watching TV, he sometimes will ask me like, what did you say? And I'm like, no, I'm just counting. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think hope you can see this well. The iPad is standing very low, so you would be able to see what I do. So I don't know if you need me to zoom some more in, let me know. I can't do anything about it on this video, but I can do it on my next stitch with me. Where I'm actually planning, I'm doing a tag that Michelle Bendy Stitchy did shout me out on. She did it on her stitch with me and said that most likely I would do it. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't remember the name right now, but I will find out eventually. Have to warn you, the crafty curator tag, I don't have any more preparation than just watching other people do it. So I haven't been thinking about it other than that. So the answer is what they will be. So let's start. Question 1. If you could wish for a person in history to be represented in a mirabilia pattern, who would it be? Actually, on that one, I would say a Norwegian author called Amalie Skram. She has an amazing history. She was in realism, and after her husband died, she became very depressed, and she did go to a psychiatric ward and get admitted on free will, and she actually have written a book that many people think symbolizes how it was for her, because she never got out of the psychiatric ward after. And the book she has written, she is speaking about a doctor that never will let her go home, even if she is good, and yeah. And even some of her best friends did end up turning the back to her, because she was early in the realism, and many people didn't like the way people started thinking. She was a woman, so she wasn't that respected at the time. So yeah, and picture of her, she's stunning. So yeah, Amalie Skram, I would say. Question 2. What landmark area of the world would you have loved to see captured in a chatelaine? Actually, I think I would say... that's a hard one. I think maybe a landmark I would like to see some of the Roman architecture, like the fountain and stuff like that. I really enjoyed Roman architecture. I did in college have a curriculum where we studied architecture from different areas and how they developed, and many of the architecture we have today come from the Roman architecture, which again is from the Greek architecture, and I love that style. So yeah, I think I would say that Roman or Greek architecture. Let's see. Number 3. What are the top 3 places you want to visit that you never been to, other than New Jersey in May, of course? I have always wanted to go to Australia. I always wanted to go to Florida to Disney World. I love everything Disney, and I never been to a Disney World. And I would also love to travel to France, and would love to go to the Disney park they have there also. So yeah, I think that's my top 3 of places I wanted to go. Number 4, what is it that you love most about stitching? What would you miss most about stitching if you could no longer do it? These may or may not have the same answer. I think I love everything about the stitching. Right now, if I have to choose for the place I am in my life now, it's that it is helping with my health. It's one of the few things I can do, because sitting at home all day, normally I would go on the walls, something. I would be bored easily. I have been sick before where I couldn't work, and it was when I was pregnant, and then I couldn't stitch because of the nausea. And it was really a hard time because all I wanted to do was do stuff, especially in the house. I always see something that needs to be cleaned or put in place, and when I have to control myself to not do those things, it's good to have something fun to do. And I love stitching. It relaxes me. I feel better after I have stitched. It doesn't take any energy away from me. So yeah, I would have to say that is the biggest right now. If I could no longer stitch, what I would miss the most, I think everything. If I could not stitch, I would miss everything about it. Especially my whips. I feel like my whips sometimes become my babies, calling it something, and I would miss not working on them, miss not be able to see the progress I have done. I think also now when I'm beginning to be so active on Facebook and FlossTube and Instagram when it comes to stitching, I would also miss the interaction. I know people would still speak with me and so on, but I would miss the conversation about the stitching. That's what have bonded us together, so it would be hard to lose that. So yeah. Question 5. What is the last movie that made you cry? Oh, that's a tough one. I think I have to say the new Beauty and the Beast. Not because I usually cry in that movie, but because that's the movie I usually watch when I'm down. And no, it's actually not. It's a movie about a girl in, I can't remember the name of the movie right now. I saw it on Netflix. I don't know if you have it in the US. It's about a girl where her parents are in the Jehovah's Witnesses, and in the beginning she is also active, and then she finds a boy that is not a Jehovah's Witness that she fell in love with, and the whole process of going out of that religion and how the people are, it's just very, very emotional for me, because I've been through the same process as her, and it just yeah, that one made me cry. So I don't remember exactly what it is called right now. I will try and write it in the comments below if I remember. So yeah. Tell me a joke. Oh. But the problem is I only know most of my jokes in Norwegian. So I have to take one of Teresa, Danielle. She did some jokes and I thought they were hilarious. So the joke is, what did the circle say? No, what did the square say to the circle? You're pointless. Yeah. Number 7. If you could be any animal or insect, what would you be and why? I don't think I would be an insect, just because most people don't like insects. I'm not a big fan of them myself. So, what animal? I think maybe I would go for a dolphin or something, because they wouldn't be easily be eaten by other sea animals. Plus, then I could experience being on the water without having to breathe. I love swimming. I have since I was a little girl, and I would always train myself in holding my breath the longest I could, because I love just being totally on the water and swim. I hated when I had to go up and breathe, so I would say a dolphin. 8. Say something that you love about 2 random flosstubers and why we should watch them. Don't name the person that sent you this tag. I love Laura X Stitches. I don't know if she's a random, but that's the person I think about right now, because I have just watched her video, and she is a lovely person. She's doing the epic Pokemon cross stitch, the same as me, and yeah, I think she's amazing, so you should watch her. And I would say Shelly X Stitches. I have recently started to communicate more with her, and she is so nice and lovely, and I like the way she is. I don't feel like she's stressed about her stitching. She takes it as it is, but also she tries new things. So yeah. Sorry, I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So let me see. If you found out you were suddenly unable to stitch, what would you do with your stash? Does anyone in your family know what to do with it if you couldn't advise them? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think my husband know what to do with it. I think he would try and sell it on eBay or something to get it away. But most likely I would give it to a stitcher that I felt like could have it. Maybe I would divide it up for different stitchers to get. I don't know, I haven't thought about it that much. So yeah, that's that. Number 10. What was your stitching like before social media became inundated with cross-stitching? Did you stitch less? Did you stitch more? Did you even have such a thing as a rotation? For now, I don't know if I stitch more or less. Usually I have had periods that can last up to a year where I stitch and then I stitch almost all the time, all day, like I do now. But I have learned parking, and I have learned about heaven and earth projects. Karen, the needlebug, she has learned me to pin stitch on Ada, and I love that method. After I learned it, I started using it immediately on my QS ball, and it goes so much faster now that I have learned it the right way to do it. I've seen other people try and learn us on Flosstube the pin stitch, but they haven't really gotten to do how it really is. They explained it differently than how simple it actually is. So I was very glad when I saw her do that, the pin stitch. And so yeah, I've learned a lot of new things. And I never had a rotation, and I never had as many whips as I have now. That's also because of social media. So let me see. 11. Do you find that cross-stitching on social media has helped you stay focused or caused you to become distracted? If it has helped you to stay focused, how do you manage to stay active on social media and still be productive in your stitching? If it has distracted you from your stitching, what have you done to get back on track with your stitching but still remain active in the community? I find it actually making me more active. Sometimes it will steal some time, but like the Instagram, I often use for myself to see the progress. So I like updating every day on everything I do. So I know, and I can go back and see, oh, this I've done, and this it's a long time I worked on, and so on. Like the stitch from Stash and the Year of Whips have really helped me focus on trying to do a project and finishing it. The 100 Days of Heaven and Earth challenge has learned me that even if I don't want to stitch on that project that day, if I just sit down and say to myself, you have to stitch an hour, not more, not less, just stitch an hour, and I do. And when I actually are going to put it away, I'm like, I don't want to put it away. So sometimes the love for the project come back just by stitching on it. Next question. I have a t-shirt that says cross-stitching saved my life once. Tell us about a time when cross-stitching saved your life or someone else. I don't have any. I can say in a sense that cross-stitching has saved my life in the way that I have been depressed when I was younger. Sometimes the depression comes back and I still can struggle some days. And in a way, cross-stitching saved my life for going to do something stupid when I was depressed. So that's the closest. I don't have a specific episode that I remember right now. And I don't think I would like to share one of those episodes because it's from a very dark time in my life. So I don't like thinking about it too much. So number 13, need to scroll down. I have my computer connected to our television, and I have this keyboard that is working through Bluetooth to interact with my TV, so that's nice. 13. If you were to look at your stash and the types of pattern that you have collected, what would your cross-stitch say about you? Are you a dark and dramatic? Are you warm, cuddly, and cute? Are you whimsical and magic? Are you primitive with a love for the old-fashioned patterns from the days of old? Are you colorful and adventurous and not easily defined? I think I would say the last. Colorful and adventurous and not easily defined, but at the same time I know I have a lot of cuddly and cute patterns and also whimsical and magical because I love everything doing with magic and fantasy. So yeah, I'm not easily defined, but a mix of those three. And yeah, I'm not very dark and dramatic in my cross stitch, and I'm not very primitive yet. I have plans of maybe doing like more primitive stuff, but for now I will do what I have and try to finish some more whips. 14. Name something that was the telltale sign that you were addicted to cross stitch without hope of redemption. What was your aha moment? I don't think I had a very defined aha moment, but like this time when I got into cross stitching for real, I felt I was addicted when I had problem going to bed because I wanted to watch Flosstube and just sit and stitch to the late nights, and I can't do that with my illness. I have to try and not be as late, not change when I go to sleep or when I wake up. So yeah, but I know when I finished my first cross stitch that I actually did finish. I know I got an experience like, oh, this I want to do all my life. So maybe that was a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah. So that was the questions. I feel like maybe I'm talking too fast since I had gone through them all before my 30 minutes are up. I just have to be a little bit quiet right now so I don't count wrong. So, there I was. And I have actually, hope you have seen what I've done most of the time. I just realized I'm holding it up a little bit too high, maybe for you to see. I have been thinking of maybe starting doing something like Michelle Bendistitchi has done. Laura is actually the one. 30 minutes up. So that's how far I did get in 30 minutes. It's not that bad. Not the best either, but I'm doing a stitch with me and I always feel it goes slower. And also I did the tag, so I had to stop and read the tag. So, but, oops. I did just cheat you guys, sorry. I tried to stretch my arms. I accidentally pulled one of the threads that I have tied the iPad up with. So, where I was, yes, I was talking about I wanted to do something similar to Michelle Bendistitchi, who does say a Hawaiian word. Like, I think she does it every video, or almost, and teaches us. And I was thinking of doing a Norwegian word for each update. And it's actually Laura that has given me that idea. She loves when I learn her new words in Norwegian. So it's actually way back when I first started doing that with her that I was thinking of maybe doing it. But I didn't know if people would like it. But the reaction I have got from people when I did the accent tag has been really good. Most people liked it. I didn't know if people would like me speak Norwegian, but it seems like you do. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. So the first thing I can learn you is counting. It's 1, 2, 3. Or at least that's how I say it on my dialect. Sometimes it will be said differently if you meet someone else. The 1 and 2 is exactly the same. 1, 2. But 3, some Norwegians say 3, and where I'm from and our area, we say 3. So 1, 2, 3. So yeah, now you can count to 3 in Norwegian. So I think I will stop the video for now, find my next project I want to work on, and show you guys. I might just see you in a little bit.